The rear of this hopeful gang was brought up by old Pluto, who had lost an eye, grown grizzly-headed, and looked more like a devil than ever.
Thunderscamp renewed his acquaintance with the old burghers, much against their will, and in a manner not at all to their taste. He slapped them familiarly on the back, gave them an iron grip of the hand, and was hail fellow well met. According to his own account, he had been all the world over, had made money by bagsful, had ships in every sea, and now meant to turn the wild goose into a country seat, where he and his comrades, all rich merchants from foreign parts, might enjoy themselves in the interval of their voyages.
Sure enough, in a little while, there was a complete metamorphosis of the wild goose from a quiet, peaceful Dutch public house. It became a most riotous and uproarious private dwelling.
A complete rendezvous for boisterous men of the seas who came here to have what they called a blowout on dry land, and might be seen at all hours, lounging about the door,
or lolling out of the windows, swearing amongst themselves, and cracking rough jokes on every passer-by.
The house was fitted up too in so strange a manner. Hammocks slung to the walls instead of bedsteads. All kinds of furniture of foreign fashion, bamboo couches, Spanish chairs, pistols, cutlasses, and blunderbusses suspended on every peg.
Silver crucifixes on the mantelpieces, silver porringers and candlesticks on the table, contrasting oddly with the pewter and telfer of the original establishment.
And then the strange amusements of these sea monsters.
pitching Spanish dollars instead of points, firing blunderbusses out of the window,
shooting at a mark, or at any unhappy dog, or cat, or pig, or barn-door fowl that might happen to come within reach.
The only being who seemed to relish the rough vagabond was old Pluto.
And yet he led but a dog's life of it, for they practiced all kinds of manual jokes upon him.
kicked him about like a football,
Shook him by his grisly mop of wool,
and never spoke to him without coupling a curse by way of adjective to his name, and consigning him to the infernal regions.
The old fellow, however, seemed to like them the better the more they cursed him.
Though his utmost expression of pleasure never amounted to more than the growl of a petty bear. Then his ears are robbed.
Old Pluto was a ministering spirit at these orgies of the wild goose, and such orgies as took place there. Such drinking, singing, whooping, swearing.
With an occasional interlude of quarreling and fighting.
The noisier grew the revel, the more old Pluto plied the quotations, until the guests would become frantic at their merriment.
Sometimes, after a drinking bout, they sallied forth and scoured the village, to the dismay of the worthy burghers, who gathered their women within doors and would have shut up the house.
Thunderscamp, however, was not to be rebuffed. He insisted on renewing acquaintance with his old neighbors and on introducing his friends,
The merchants.
to their families. Swore he was on the lookout for a wife, and meant, before he stopped, to find husbands for all their daughters.
So billy, nilly, sociable he was.
Swaggered about their best parlors with his hat on one side of his head.
Sat on the good wife's nicely waxed mahogany table, kicking his heels against the gaunt and polished legs.
Kissed and tousled and young vrouws.
And if they frowned and pouted,